Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeff Carroll, the Interim Chief of Police here at the Metropolitan Police Department. Today I'm joined by members of MPD's executive staff. Before we get to today's announcement, all of us would like to take this opportunity to again express our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Officer Terry Bennett as they continue to grieve this tremendous loss. Late Wednesday night, Officer Bennett passed away from injuries sustained after being struck by a vehicle in the line of duty on Tuesday, December 23rd. Since the night of the crash, detectives from our Major Crash Investigations Unit have worked tirelessly on this case. A short time ago, MPD detectives, along with members of the Capital Area Regional Fugitive Task Force, arrested the driver responsible for striking Officer Bennett. 47-year-old Gerard Coates of Northwest D.C. was charged with second-degree murder while armed for the death of Officer Terry Bennett. I can provide some limited details on the investigation. At approximately 9:49 p.m. on Tuesday, December 23rd, Officer Bennett was dispatched to the report of a crash on eastbound I-695 between the South Capitol Street exit and the 6th Street Southeast exit. A vehicle had run out of gas and was struck by another vehicle, causing minor damage. After exchanging information, the second vehicle left the scene. Officer Bennett was on the scene setting up flares and staying with that vehicle that ran out of gas. He was outside of his cruiser as the suspect vehicle approached at a high rate of speed. The investigation determined that the suspect was driving erratically and attempting to change lanes through slow traffic when he struck Officer Bennett. The suspect's vehicle came to rest after hitting the rear of Officer Bennett's marked police car. The suspect remained on the scene and was located unconscious immediately outside of his vehicle. DC Fire and EMS responded and they administered naloxone. The suspect regained consciousness and was transported to a local hospital for treatment. He was released pending further investigation. Yesterday, in consultation with their partners at the United States Attorney's Office, our detectives completed a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant charging Coates with second-degree murder while armed a vehicle. I want to thank the members of the Major Crash Investigations Unit for their professionalism throughout this investigation. These cases are extremely difficult, and they're even more difficult when the victim is a member of the police department. While we're grateful the suspect will now face accountability, we recognize there's nothing we can do to bring back Officer Bennett. Our thoughts remain with Officer Bennett's family. He's survived by his wife, a 3-year-old son, his parents, family, and friends. I ask that everyone continue to keep his loved ones and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department in their thoughts in the days ahead. With that, I'll take some questions. Yes, ma'am.
Emma Huber with the Washington Post. Thank you, Chief. You mentioned that naloxone was administered at the scene. Have drugs been found in Coates' system, and could there be additional charges for driving under the influence?
There could be additional charges. The full toxicology report has not come back yet. Sir.
Chief, was he drunk? Like, was he administered a breathalyzer on the scene? And why would you administer this? For what particular reason? He clearly was ejected from his car, it seems.
Sure. So the information we don't have that he was actually ejected from the car. What we have, it appears initially, is he attempted to open the vehicle door, and then he kind of fell out of the car unconscious. What was the first part of your question?
Was a blood alcohol test administered on the scene?
So there was, obviously, when he went to the hospital, because he had injuries, he went to the hospital for treatment. They obtained samples from him there, which had to go for toxicology reports. They'll check for alcohol and any other sort of drugs that are in his system. The full report is still pending.
But you can usually tell pretty quickly, right, if someone's blowing or somehow, or is this only when it's done by blood that it takes a while?
So there's a couple different ways. Usually in situations with traffic crashes, especially one of this nature, blood or urine is what's used. So you'll go to the hospital, draw will be taken, and those will be submitted for tests. You're talking about as like kind of a normal person, a traffic stop, and they may do some standardized field sobriety test on the side of the road, or they may blow into it. After that, they would go blow into an intoximeter. That was not done in this case. He was at the hospital for treatment, so that's what necessitates the requirement of the toxicology reports to find out the exact things. So to the earlier question, there could be additional charges based on that.
Chief, could you explain the charge a little bit more? Second-degree murder while armed. You're talking armed the vehicle, right, not a gun.
Exactly. The vehicle is the weapon.
And how tough has this been? This is new in your administration. How tough is the morale overall throughout the department for this tragic incident?
I mean, anytime that a member of the police department is critically injured, obviously there's a toll on the entire department, his coworkers, the people that he works with, his family. But in this case, it's even more so. You know, Officer Bennett was in the hospital for a very long period of time, and his friends and family and coworkers were at the hospital checking on him, praying for him, thinking of him. You know, so also had the ability to have an even more closer relationship with his family members. So it definitely has a huge impact. I think that if you look at the escort that occurred yesterday from the hospital, you can really see just the amount of people that came out. Some people, I'm sure, didn't even know Officer Bennett, but just for the sacrifice that he and his family have given to this city. Yes, sir.
I don't know if you were able to answer this, but commonly is naloxone used in cases of alcohol or just in cases of opioids when it comes to your training for your officers?
Yeah, so in general, naloxone is used for opioids. It's not used for alcohol.
Was that a determination made by the officers on the field or the first responders?
Yes, so on the scene, DC Fire actually administered the naloxone because he was found unconscious. Obviously, depending on what you see there, some of the other things that we do know is there was marijuana inside the car. Obviously, it's not illegal to possess small amounts of marijuana, but that could play a role into, you know, had he recently smoked it. Those are things that we don't know. Those are things that toxicology will provide us. So as the investigation, you know, continues, we'll find out more information on that.
Does he have a criminal record?
I do believe he has a criminal record. I don't have the specific details of that, though.
Chief, has he said anything? Has he cooperated in any way and made any statements acknowledging his behavior on the road?
So obviously the night that the crash happened, he was interviewed. He has been interviewed since then. The specific details of the conversation, obviously, I don't want to put out right now as the investigation does continue out there. But as he's presented, you know, the arrest warrant will become public and get some more information about that as well.
Is he employed by the district?
He is. Yes, he is.
Parks and Rec, is that what we understand?
Yeah, DPR. That's correct.
And is he also physically disabled in some way, did we hear? Do we know?
He does. He does use handbrakes inside of his vehicle. He was in a wheelchair. I don't know what his specific you know, condition is overall besides that.
So it's just one more. So that would be either a paraplegic, potentially a quadriplegic? I know people who are quadriplegics and drive.
Yes, yes, he definitely, like I said, I don't know his specific medical condition. I do know he does use a wheelchair, and there were hand controls that were inside the vehicle. One more, go ahead.
I mean, Officer Bennett was an 8-year veteran of the department. Obviously, you've been there during that whole time. Can you just talk a little bit about what Bennett meant to this department?
I mean, Officer Bennett, I mean, we've talked a lot about kind of the police department and what he's done here. Everyone that I've talked to at the first district, the folks that have had the opportunity to work directly with him over these years, they say nothing but positive things about him, how nice he was, how much he gave back to the community, always willing to help out outside of work. As I mentioned yesterday, I mean, he was a coach at Ballou, you know, engaging and providing his off time to help young people with that. I know he was an avid fan of the Commanders, so he was just an all-around great guy, and it's a tremendous loss to the community. It's a tremendous loss to the police department, and that's why I asked that everyone just keep his family, keep his, you know, his son, the members of the police department in their thoughts, because it really is a trying time. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.